Good morning, everyone. This is Tony Butler with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I'm one of the life sales directors here, and today I have Michael Carcello, who's with American National, and Michelle Green. Michael is our internal contact over at American National, and Michelle is Chief Underwriter at American National. And we're going to be discussing the benefits of some of the riders, some underwriting rules and guidelines. So let's get started. Before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the webinar, there's a few IMS housekeeping items I'd like to discuss real quick. We do have our Top Producers Summit that is scheduled for 2022. As you see here, qualification periods from December 1st of 2020 all the way up through June 30th of 2022. 4.5 million points is needed to qualify. If you have any questions on the cruise, you need more details, feel free to give us a call. Any of our sales directors can help you with that. We also have IAMS new producers builders, and these are for our new producers to help them grow their business. As you see here, there's 5 different levels that we have available, and based on the business that you do bring in, the paid premium levels, we can provide additional perks for you, whether it be mailers, we can help with marketing dollars reimbursement. There's also a Ritz-Carlton package that's available. We do have our branding builder, so there's a plethora of perks that we have available for you based on the business that you bring in to help you grow your business even more. So if you have any questions regarding our new producers builders, feel free to give us a call. We'll be more than happy to give you more details on that. We also have our IAMS Business Builders, which is our referral bonus for all of our agents. What that is if you were to refer an agent to IAMS and they were to get appointed with one of the carriers that we work with, we do provide you with a one-time $50 referral bonus. Any subsequent business that they submit, we do provide additional bonus for you that as well. So if you have questions regarding our IAMS Business Builders, feel free to give us a call. We do offer back office support for you. We always like to say we want you to work smarter, not harder. So with that being said, we provide business building tools and resources. We do help you with life and annuity quotes. We have paperless contracting that's available. We're here for you all the way from submissions to commissions. So it's all about saving you time so you're out there generating more business. We also have a 24/7 website with excellent sales tools. We've got a term quota that's available on there. You can access forms online. We do have an annuity and long-term care product grid. The website does also offer electronic applications, and there's a couple of platforms if you're a life agent that you can utilize to submit electronic applications. One is iGo eApp, which you can access through our website. The other is going to be Firelight, which is a separate platform. As you see here, these are the carriers that we work with for Firelight. The majority of those carriers are annuity carriers, but we do have some life carriers sprinkled in there. Over to the right are some carriers that we're adding to Firelight. If you haven't registered for the IAMS website or Firelight, please give us a call so we can get you registered. I can't stress enough how electronic application makes your life so much easier in doing business, especially in today's times. We also have creative marketing solutions available for you. And those solutions, whether they're turnkey, agency, or digital solutions, meaning if you're looking to get into the digital space where you need website help, digital marketing strategies. If you're looking for a new logo design, looking to get professionally written handouts, whether they be newsletters or postcards, we can definitely help you with that. I would strongly suggest that you reach out to your sales director and do what we call a marketing analysis. This allows us to kind of take a deep dive into your business, see what you've been doing, what you're looking to do, and then come up with a business plan that's going to create some successes for you. So definitely give us a call on that. We'd love to walk you through that process. We have a retirement analyzer that's available. It is free for qualifying agents. For those that aren't qualifying agents, meaning when I say qualifying, there is a specific amount of business that you must submit for that to be free, which I can get you more information on. But our retirement analyzer does provide you the access of answering questions from your clients, such as, can I continue my present standard of living into my retirement years? How would it affect my family if I were to die prematurely? How can my situation change during turbulent times, turbulent economic times? So there's a lot of things that we can do with the retirement analyzer, or you, the advisor, can do with the retirement analyzer to help make sure that your clients are secure, whether it be from a retirement perspective to an insurance perspective. So definitely, if you have any questions on that, give us a call. We also have IAMS Wealth Management team available for you. That team is available for your higher net worth clients. We've seen where this wealth management team can increase your revenue, improve retention with your clients, strengthen those relationships with those high net worth clients. So I would suggest that you reach out to Charles Jr. and his team. If you have some clients that fit, let's say that that market space, definitely want to reach out to them. They're doing an outstanding job of seeing additional opportunities for our advisors. So with that, I'm going to switch this over to Mike so you can start here. So give me one moment. Let me make you the presenter.
Sounds good.
All right. You should have control now.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you very much, Tony, for that nice intro there. My name is Mike Carcello, and I'm the external wholesaler that covers the Midwest region. We also have Michelle Green, who is our chief underwriter at American National, on the call as well. So the plan is to go through our accelerated benefit riders. We're going to talk a little bit about the ins and outs of those. Then I'm going to hand it off to Michelle towards the end of the presentation to answer any kind of underwriting questions that you may have, as well as discuss our COVID guidelines. So for those that are not familiar with American National, we're a family-owned company headquartered in Galveston, Texas. We've been around for a long time, founded in 1905. Very financially stable company. We have A rating with AM Best and S&P. We've actually held that A rating since 1941. Operational and financial integrity has definitely been the cornerstone of our organization for over 100 years. So we're not the largest company, but we're about a mid-sized carrier and we're conservative, and we've always done things right from a financial and operational point of view. So with that being said, why would you choose American National Life? Well, there's a whole laundry list of reasons as to why you would choose us to write your life business. We have Express and Express Plus underwriting programs, which are very advantageous to try to get policies through the door, or out the door rather, without having an exam to be ordered. So we will touch a little bit on those more here shortly. We also have all three accelerated benefit riders for chronic, critical, and terminal illness. And we'll definitely dive deeper into those as the presentation goes on. We also have our expert app and our smart underwriting program that's built into our platform. So we use a platform called Expert Office. So when you get appointed with us, you're automatically going to have access to this portal in which you could do your online applications. You could check on your pending business status or your in-force business. So especially during COVID and social distancing being the new norm, it's definitely a great way to continue writing business without having to be face-to-face with your customers. We also have single sign-on capability through the IAMS website. So all you need is to get appointed and put in a producer code. Once you click on the American National logo on the IAMS website, and it takes you straight to this portal so that you could do an online application. So definitely cuts out a few steps for you. So not only do we have the ease of use with our online application, we also have a stellar product lineup. We have a signature guaranteed universal life product, which is definitely our staple product at American National. It has a return of premium feature where a client can access most, if not all, of the premiums paid into the policy in the 15th, 20th, and 25th year. Also has a guaranteed component, so you could dial in a guaranteed death benefit anywhere from 95 to 121. Also, we have a very competitive signature term product that has a conversion feature. So for those that maybe cannot afford our guaranteed universal life product, they could always get into our term product and later convert into our guaranteed universal life. And we also carry a competitive whole life product and a nice IUL product that has multiplier strategies. And also, all of our accelerated benefit riders are automatically included with all of our life products for no additional charge. So a little bit about our express underwriting program. And just to be clear, this is not a guaranteed issue program. What it is it's designed for ages 0 to 65 and face amounts up to $249,999. We offer standard and substandard rate classes with this program. And what we do is we run a MIB and script check in-house, and if those get the green checks, then you're looking at a quick 72-hour turnaround time without an exam needing to be ordered. So for those smaller face amounts, this is a really excellent program. And just be mindful, we do not offer above a standard rate class with our express underwriting program. Now, for the higher face amounts, we have our Express Plus program, and this is designed for your customers aged 18 to 50, 250,000 up to 1 million, and ages 51 to 60, 250,000 up to 500,000. And as I mentioned, our expert office or our expert app that could be accessed through single sign-on through the IAMS website. To utilize our Express Plus program, you do have to go do an expert or electronic application through our portal to qualify for Express Plus. Now, the guidelines are pretty similar to Express as far as we're going to run an MIB and script check in-house to determine if an exam will be required or not. So for your healthier individuals that are looking for a higher rate class other than standard, because we go up to a preferred plus with our Express Plus program, this is an ideal program for those types of customers. Now, our accelerated benefit riders for the critical, chronic, and terminal illnesses, we have all three of these that are available for all of our products. So we're going to go through what exactly are accelerated benefit riders and how do they work. And then we'll conclude on some procedural topics on how you would actually qualify for one of these accelerated benefit. So for those of you that are not familiar with what an accelerated benefit rider is, basically all they are is an enhancement to your life insurance contract. And to put it in a nutshell, it's just benefits available to the insured while they are still alive. So they could still be living and have access to portions or a good good chunk of that life insurance coverage while they are still alive if they qualify. So there are two ways to go about accelerating your policy to utilize the accelerated benefit. So we have our full acceleration, and this will be a higher percentage payout of that death benefit for the customer. But if they fully accelerate their policy, it will terminate the coverage to their life insurance policy, but they will receive a higher payment, most likely, if they do a full acceleration. Now, for those customers that maybe want to keep some life insurance in force, we do offer partial acceleration with our living benefit riders. So they can keep some life insurance coverage in force, and the percentage payout that they would receive if they were to do a partial acceleration will probably be a little bit less, but they do have the option to take some of that death benefit in the form of an ABR payment and still keep some life insurance coverage in force if they choose to do so. So we do have both options for the customer. We do offer two payout methods for our accelerated benefit riders. They could receive it in a lump sum payment and just one big check, or they could do installment payments over a period of time. So if they have recurring medical bills or recurring mortgage over a period of time, they can take these ABR payments and installments to meet those needs if they need to. Now, a little bit of the specs on our accelerated benefit riders. As long as you have if you have a $25,000 minimum face amount, you will have that terminal illness rider. You need at least a $50,000 minimum face amount to have all three of the accelerated benefit riders included with your policy. We do go up to $2 million for ages 0 to 65, and we'll even go up to $1 million over 66. And this is same stipulations for all of our life products that we offer. For those of you that are not really familiar what the triggers are for the accelerated benefit riders, here's a brief explanation. A terminal illness is basically if death is expected within 24 months. Critical illness has a little bit more range as far as different triggers that could qualify for a critical illness. We offer 16 different illnesses. Depending on where you are, if you're in California, there's 13 triggers. These are nicely detailed on our website in our underwriting guide. It goes into great detail on what exactly all of those triggers are, and I'll make sure that Tony gets you one after our webinar is finished. And chronic illness, it's basically if you can only perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, that would trigger the chronic illness ABR. So the kicker here is a lot of carriers that you're going to find out there charge some type of charge you some way with an accelerated benefit rider being added to their policy. I don't know of any others any other carriers other than us that actually includes accelerated benefit riders with their policies with no additional cost to the customer. So we offer all of these for no additional premium on all of our life products. Our flagship guaranteed UL, our signature term with the conversion feature, our whole life and our IUL, our living benefits are included. So one thing to be mindful of is when the client does accelerate that policy, whether it be a full or partial acceleration, there is going to be an administrative fee and an actuarial discount that is taken out of that offered benefit amount. So just to kind of break it down on how that ABR payment is calculated, we look at the eligible death benefit on that life insurance policy. We subtract the actuarial discount, and then we subtract the administrative fee, does not exceed $500. And of course, any outstanding policy debt that has been taken from the cash value from that in that life insurance policy can affect that accelerated benefit amount. So all of these play a role in what that final offer will be with our ABRs. So what exactly is an actuarial discount? It's pretty simple. It's just basically the future mortality of the insured. So if the customer has a shorter life expectancy, he's gonna have a smaller actuarial discount, which means a larger end payment or a larger offer with that ABR. So if you have a 24-month life expectancy, what we do is 24 months of the future premiums will be discounted from the offer. And inversely, if you look at a 10-year life expectancy, 10 years of the future premiums, excuse me, 10 years of the future premiums discounted will be discounted from that offer. So how do you qualify for these benefits? So let's say the insured experiences a qualifying illness for the critical, chronic, or terminal illness. The policy insured would fill out the form and request if they want the full or partial acceleration of that benefit. The medical director that we have on staff would determine that eligible benefit amount, and then the insured would then receive the payment or the offer. So to request these benefits, it's pretty simple. We will need our claim form, the percentage of the policy that the insured wishes to accelerate, medical records, as well as a doctor's statement. So we have a physician on staff that would review the application and the severity of the illness to determine the future life expectancy. And then our actuarial department would then calculate the accelerated benefit offer amount. Some things to keep in mind, though, is that the benefit offer amount is tied to the face amount of the policy, so how much coverage that the customer actually has, the cash value at the time the claim is made, as well as the reduction in future life expectancy as a result of the illness. The benefit offer is not tied to the medical bills that the insured may have incurred, a disability, or the ability for them to go to work or perform a job. So what kind of payment can be expected? And as I mentioned, it's going to be on future life expectancy. So that's what's really going to determine what kind of payment the customer is going to receive. So for example, if you have a 50-year-old who had a minor heart attack, but he recovers quickly and he's able to return to work in 3 months, you're not going to look at a really big payment because the life expectancy has not significantly changed. But let's say that same individual had a severe heart attack and his life expectancy plummets to where, he has a 33% chance of living for the next 5 years. Then you're going to be looking at a significant offer. These ABR payments, there are no restrictions on how these payments can be used. So if they're to pay a mortgage, medical bills, what have you, they can be used for anything. And we do make that check out to the policy owner. So they can be used for any purpose. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Michelle Green, who is our Chief Underwriter at American National, and she is going to discuss, answer any kind of underwriting questions that you may have, and she has also volunteered to discuss our COVID guidelines.
Hello. Thanks for having me today. Um, Tony, I'm not sure, are the app participants available to ask questions? I'm not sure if that's available in this format or not. Share my screen. 1 second from the beginning. Hello?
Sorry, I had you on mute. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I
Sorry,
can. Yeah.
talking away and no one's hearing me. Okay, yes, so they'll be able to type in those questions, and
Okay, great. And I'll see it in the chat in the below.
yes, yes.
Perfect. Okay, again, thanks for having me. I am Michelle Green. I'm the Chief Underwriter with American National. We've got a team of 41 underwriters. That includes myself and 3 directors. I'm always available to you. We've got our directors, Mary Dellinger and Ryan Hedges. The primary underwriters that you will see at American National are Brad Lewis, Megan Bunce, Mary Savoye, Haley Vargas, Ashley Castro, and Ben Cohn. We do work in a true team environment, so these are going to be your primary underwriters, but don't be surprised if you see another underwriter's name on one of your cases, because again, we're working to make sure that we're processing the work as it comes in, and we will move underwriters around to help out. COVID guidelines, as we know, about this time last year, the world of insurance changed. So we had to really kind of go back to our guidelines and look at ways that we could be more aggressive as far as getting policies in the customer's hands without having to require exam and labs. So we looked at our actuarial data and our claims data, and we were comfortable with making some concessions to liberalize our guidelines for clients ages 50 and below. We did not change our guidelines for ages 51 and up, just because that age applicant, the mortality rates are higher. So we did feel like, if an exam and labs were required, then we would hold to those. But what we were able to do for face amounts between $100,000 up to $1 million, we liberalized our underwriting requirements, meaning that we were able to get more cases out there without exam and labs. We utilize, as Michael had previously said, not only the information on the application, MIB, prescription check, the MVR. We also use LexisNexis Life Risk Classifier Score to determine if we can accelerate a case. But what we were able to do is we kind of reduced the threshold scores for that Life Risk Classifier Score, and prior to COVID, we did not rate based on the LRC score. With COVID, and with the lowest tiered LRC score, we would offer a rated policy. If we went out with a rated policy based on the LRC score, we did make the offer that we would reconsider the rating once exam and labs can be obtained. Many clients, they wanted the coverage, but they could not get exam and labs, or they were not comfortable with exam and labs. So this was a way for us to put a policy in your customer's hand without having that face-to-face interaction with an examiner. We were monitoring our COVID guidelines on a monthly basis, from when we implemented these guidelines back last March all the way to current. We do anticipate kind of going back to more of our traditional guidelines, likely this summer, probably maybe in June. We're talking about, I anticipate we'll probably leave these in play for May, but probably in June, we'll kind of tweak these back, going back to our original guidelines. The one thing that you may have seen for those older applicants, ages 60 and up, if they appeared that the table rating was going to be over a table 4, or they had a flat extra rating of $5 per thousand for a medical reason, we were postponing those. Additionally, we postponed all cases ages 80 and up. So where are we at now? As we all know that many people are getting vaccinated. If your client has evidence of of being vaccinated, we're going to totally flip back to our original guidelines. So if you're, especially for the older applicants or healthcare workers, first responders, and even for foreign travel, if you're, talking to a client and they indicate that they have been vaccinated, get a copy of that vaccination card, send it in with the application, and we're going to go back and we're going to underwrite that using our pre-COVID guidelines. Does anybody have any questions about our COVID guidelines? Again, I'm watching the chat, so if you have any questions, please, and it doesn't even have to be about our COVID guidelines. If you have any questions, type them in there. We'll talk about them. I'd like for it to be as interactive as possible. I did want to just kind of go through just some quick underwriting tips. I know that everybody gets frustrated, when cases kind of get hung up in underwriting, if you will. So I've got a few tips here that I wanted to just kind of talk through as far as things that you and your customer can do to kind of ease the underwriting process. The main thing that we see in underwriting is lack of disclosure on the application. So when you're visiting with your customer, make sure that they're aware that, we're going to run MIB, we're going to run a prescription database search. So if they have any medical history or they're taking medications, put that information on the application. For example, we see a lot of people may take a mild anti-anxiety or anti-depression medication. If that information is on the application, it's not going to slow down underwriting. So full disclosure is key, whether it be medical history, medications, tobacco use. So many times those are the main things that kind of hang up, and lack of disclosure. If it's not disclosed on the application, not only do we have to go back to you have to go back to the client to verify the information. It also puts the underwriter on alert. So if they didn't admit to this, what else may they not be admitting to? If you answer the question properly on the application and you're doing an e-application, the application is automatically going to prompt you to complete the required questionnaires. So again, that's going to prevent delays, because if it comes in and they have a history of high blood pressure and you answer that question no on the application, we're going to have to go back to you to get that questionnaire. You have to go back and inconvenience the client. So I really encourage full disclosure while you're in front of that client completing that application. With U.S. citizens, if they're not a U.S. citizen, we do need to know what type of residency status do they have. Are they a permanent resident with a green card? Do they have a visa? Do they have a employment authorization card? Make sure that you're talking through those, because a lot of times we'll see that they're not a U.S. citizen and they'll mark yes to residency. Well, when we request the card, they actually are not a permanent resident. They may have an employment authorization. They may not have any official documentation. We can offer modest coverage, even if they've been in the U.S. for at least 5 years, they plan to remain permanently, and the country of origin is a standard risk country. So they're, just because they're not a permanent resident or they don't have a acceptable visa type does not mean that we automatically will not be able to offer coverage. But it's one of those things that the more information you can get us on the front end of this, the quicker the process is going to be through underwriting. Another thing that we see in underwriting is incorrect date of birth, social security, or driver's license information. Because again, we are ordering the MIB prescription search, LexisNexis reports, MVRs. Make sure that information, the date of birth, one digit off can throw it off where it's not going to qualify for acceleration. It'll kick it out. So just be sure that you're, getting those numbers correctly on the application. If the client is applying for, say we see many times where they want, a term policy plus a small permanent plan, except in the state of New York, we can accept the same one application and offer multiple policies. In New York, you have to apply for each policy has to have its own application, but just be sure to make sure that you're noting on the agent's report that you want an additional policy or a companion type application. If you have a situation where the proposed insurer is not the owner, make sure that you're properly explaining that. Let us know what risk they're trying to cover. If you've got a parent applying as owner for an adult child, we need to know kind of what's going on there. And conversely, if a adult child is applying as owner for their parent, we need to know what the purpose, what are they trying to protect. Again, the more information that you can give us on the front end, the quicker this thing is going to sell through underwriting. For business related coverage is if the business or a partner is the policy owner, make sure that you're completing a business financial questionnaire with the application. The underwriters will go back and ask for that in those types of situations. Again, Michael kind of went through, this is just a quick comparison of our Express and our Express Plus. And I just included it here just so that you could kind of see the difference there. Again, we do accelerate significantly more cases in that lower band, that up to 249,999 versus our Express Plus. Michael reiterated the Express standard and substandard offers are available, but for our Express Plus, we do go all the way up to Preferred Plus without requiring exam labs or the APS. For our smaller face amount cases, if we're not going to accelerate them, we'll typically either get the APS or exam and labs. We try not to get both. For Express Plus, if an APS is required, for example, if you've got somebody with a cardiac history or cancer history, we're not only going to order the APS, but we are going to also order the exam and labs. And again, I won't slow this down. This is our acceleration rates. And I did want to bring this up because this shows you kind of, if you look here at the first of this, this is from 2020. January, February, and March, you can see where we shot up here for both Express and Express Plus. And this is when we implemented our COVID guidelines. So you could see for Express, prior to our COVID guidelines, we were accelerating, a little over 50%. And then once we introduced our COVID guidelines, that acceleration rate went up to 80%. Similarly, for Express Plus, we were around, the 23, 24% prior to COVID, and we were able to increase our acceleration up to 50% in that age bracket, ages 50 and below. And just, I did want to kind of go back and touch again on our retention, just so that we do retain the first $5 million up to age 75. So if you've got a case and you're trying to put together a jumbo case, where we see a lot of cases where they may be going out to 5 different carriers to get their retention. With COVID, reinsurance carriers really locked down for older applicants. So we saw an increase in retention cases during 2020 because various carriers were willing to take on that risk where our reinsurance partners were not. Precision underwriting is another really exciting tool for the underwriters. We introduced this program over 2 years ago, but it was a way for us to basically make more competitive offers using in-house credits. So for ages 18 to 60, up to 5 million, if they came in table 6 or better, and it was fully underwritten in non-smokers only. We don't use precision credits for smokers, but if they're a non-smoker, then we can take, if they've got, say they're, say table 6 for build, but they've got other favorable features like their lipids are favorable, their family history is good, their blood pressure is good. We can take these other favorable things and improve that offer. The max that we can improve it's going to be 3 tables. So if you've got somebody that's a table 6 for build, and they've got everything else is stellar, so we can get a 3 table improvement. That takes that rating from a table 6 down to a table 3. And what that does is that it pulls the ABRs back in play. Anything rated over a table 4, the ABRs are going to be automatically excluded. So this really kept us competitive and helps us kind of keep that sale on the table as far as being able to improve those offers. And these are some of the criteria that we look at for precision credits: their cholesterol HDL ratio, their LDL, preferred plus build, blood pressure without treatment. If they know, if we've got an APS and it notes that they have regular exercise, if they've got a favorable A1C, favorable NT-proBNP, these are just a few of the criteria that we look at to determine if we're able to apply those credits. I always, pretty much any time that we're in front of producers, marijuana comes up. This is such a hot topic, especially as each states are, changing their legalities as far as, what's acceptable and what's not. Recreational marijuana use, we can't offer that. And we can go non-tobacco rates if the client has not used tobacco products in the last 12 months. So even though they're smoking marijuana, if they're not also smoking or using nicotine products, we can't allow non-nicotine user rates. For medicinal marijuana, we're going to want to know what that conditioning is, and we're going to rate for that condition. So if you've got somebody that's using medicinal marijuana for anxiety, we're going to rate the anxiety, not necessarily the marijuana use. If they're using medicinal marijuana for pain, we're going to rate the pain condition. If they don't have a prescription for it and they tell us that they're using it for a medical condition, then typically we're going to flip back over to our recreational guidelines. If they're using, marijuana more than 3 or 4 times a week, those are typically going to come in at a table 2 rating, but less frequently, once or twice a week or even less, typically those can get a standard rating. We
Hey, Michelle,
are not,
question.
yes. Uh-huh.
Now that you're speaking on the non-tobacco rates versus the tobacco rates, e-cigarettes, because that is a question that's always asked quite a bit.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
going to get tobacco rates.
okay? Wanted to make sure to
E-cigarettes,
clarify that.
vaping, hookah, anything that's got nicotine products in it, and even we'll have, well, they're vaping, but they're not using nicotine, just because it's so difficult to prove. Our stance is, and it's kind of industry wide, that if you're using a vape product, then you're going to get nicotine rates.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that question gets asked a lot.
Yes, it does, and I do get that question as well, so thanks for asking that one. But again, with marijuana use, we'll go non-tobacco rates if they're not using nicotine as well. And that's basically, I was trying to pull in as much information, especially using the types of questions that that we get in underwriting the most. So does anybody else have any questions?
I'm seeing one here that I'm going to read you. If a client accelerated partial benefits and keeps the policy active, does their premium stay the same going forward? I guess that's more of a Michael question. Mike, you still
Michael,
there? Wonder if he's on mute.
My apologies. I was muted there. That's a good question. I'm not sure if they stay the same or not, but let me to you and I will get you an answer that works.
All right. Now I'm going to flip a question to Michelle.
Great.
As it relates to COVID underwriting, what does American National consider as fully vaccinated?
It depends on the type of vaccination that they receive, whether it be Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson, based on the protocol for that particular vaccine. Pfizer and Moderna require the 2 doses, the initial dose and then the booster dose. Johnson & Johnson is a one-time dose. So if they've got and when you get vaccinated, I don't know how many of you have been vaccinated, but when you get vaccinated, they do give you a card. So if they just snap a copy of that card and send it in with the application.
Okay. Then I've got another one from Michael. Looks like we're going to go back and forth with you guys. Is a chronic/terminal illness amount not taxable? And I'm assuming they're asking if they accelerate it for that.
If the accelerated benefit amount that's paid out to the customer, if that's taxable?
Yeah.
The question. I don't believe so, but that'll be another follow-up question. These are good questions. Yeah.
Okay. For those of you that asked those questions, I'll make sure that we get the answers out to you. And let me see if I've got anything else. Okay. Looks like that is it for questions. If you do have any additional questions, we still have a few minutes available. Would definitely love to answer those questions. In the meantime, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch this back over to me because we do have a few polling questions or a couple of polling questions that I want to ask here. So, all right. So first polling question that I have here is if you want additional information on today's topic, we can definitely get that out to you. I've got this pulled up here. If you can just respond, make sure to get that information out to you. And I'll leave this up for a few more seconds to make sure everybody responds. And Mike, just so that you know, I got a lot of people that's looking for additional information. So,
Great.
all right, I'll close that one out. Next polling question is, if you're not appointed with American National and you would like to get appointed, definitely want to get that appointment request submitted. So go ahead and respond to this polling question and make sure to get the necessary paperwork out to you. All right, I'll go ahead and take that down. I think there might have been another question that popped up. Let me check. Nope. So last polling question, based on the information that we covered today, and a lot of times when we do these webinars, advisors will say, I've got a client that might fit this, or got a question about this particular client that I may be able to write based on the information that you guys have provided to us. So what I want to do is get this polling question out to you. If there are clients out there that you have that American National products, whether it be term or the universal life, or you've got an underwriting issue that you think that this might be a good fit. If you could go ahead and respond to this polling question, I'll make sure to reach out to you and get that taken care of for you as well. So it looks like we got quite a few people responding, so I'll leave this up for a little bit. Okay, I'll go ahead and close that out. So I don't see any additional questions. So Mike, before we end the webinar, any closing thoughts?
No, I think that was very informative. Michelle, thank you very much for jumping on the webinar with us to go through the COVID guidelines. I mean, those are probably the top, that's probably the main topic out there right now is people starting to get vaccinated, things like that. How do we look at people that have had their COVID shots? And how do we underwrite that? So it's very informative. Thank you very much for jumping on to explain that for us. I really appreciate it. And I will, and Tony, I have some homework to do, so I will follow up with you regarding those two questions. And I will also send you our underwriting guide, Tony, along with, and I think the critical illness ABR triggers are packet as well. So I'll send that to you if you'd like to send it to everyone that was able to jump on the webinar today.
Okay.
Michael.
Michelle, any final thoughts for you?
Yes, I was going to kind of jump on the underwriting guide. That truly can be one of your best friends when you're, considering American National products. and trying to find out, whether this client is a good fit. The underwriting guideline addresses our retention, our agent amount requirements, our build chart, our preferred chart. In the back, it even talks about our foreign national guidelines. It has a couple of different pages, what you can anticipate with various underwriting impairments, whether it be a diabetic, a psoriasis, just kind of giving you a ballpark figure. So if the agents will go through that underwriting guideline, it'll really answer a lot of questions that you may have from an underwriting perspective. So I want to just give a real big plug to that. It's available online through the American National Independent Marketing website. And then, of course, Michael's going to get that out to you as well.
Okay. All right. And then to close everything out, I guess if you guys have any questions at all, as always, feel free to reach out to us here at IAMS, whether you're reaching out to me. As you see, here's my email address, tony@imsinc.com. We also have Justin Ford, who is another one of our life sales directors, and his email is justin@imsinc.com. And then we also have Jess Riley. His email is jess@imsinc.com. And for this type of content and other content, please follow us or like us on Facebook or LinkedIn. And with that, Mike and Michelle, I want to thank you guys so much for helping out with this webinar. It's always appreciative that the carriers that we do work with, we partner with them to provide additional content, sales ideas, and concepts to help the advisors grow their business. So thank you guys. And thank you to the advisors that attended today's webinar. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.